Come check out the newest expansions for Deckhand and Warcar.
Spiky bits.
What's up, hobby maniacs? Rob Baer with you again today, cracking open the two new expansions from Rune Wars for the very first two factions. Of course, we got a whole bunch of Latari elves to take a look at here soon, but that is not today. Today we're taking a look at the Crossbowmen and the Death Knight, or Heavy Crossbowmen and the Death Knights unit expansion, both introducing very cool new things to the game. So let's open up the box and take a look. Once you tear into the box, you're gonna get all sorts of awesome goodies in here. Of course, the punch out cards, your command dials, and then you've got some inspiration, bane, stunned tokens right here, your little hinge pieces that go in there. 5 upgrade cards in the Heavy Crossbowmen along with their unit card right there. 4 bags of minis. I already pulled an extra one out of here, and the movement trays right there. Now, I promised you some new rules here, so we will get to that here in a second. Let me remove some of these things to get them out of our way. We'll talk about some cards later, but let's take a look at what these bad boys can do right here. So let's take a look at the 2 dials. So you can see that initiative wise, they are kind of slow. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I suppose, how you take a look at it, they do have heavy in their name, so I mean, you can only do so much. Their reform is at a 3 initiative there. They can, of course, rally, shift at a 6, move at a 5. They can melee attack at a 4, ranged attack at a 5. Very cool. What do we got over here? So modifiers, you can go a little faster, but it's going to cost you. You've got an extra surge here that you can put on your ranged if you want, or you could go with your special or a maneuver, I suppose. And I guess just your standard accompaniment of maneuvers right there, turning and such. As far as their actual rules right there, you can see how they go together. Each one of those little baggies, I'll let you in on a little secret, is the same pose. So they will go together the same when you crack that bad boy open. Over here is going to be the component list, your action dial, and your modify dial reference, which we just went over, and then new rules, the unique surge ability. So normally you can kind of resolve a surge icon if it was followed by a plus, but the unique one can only be resolved once per attack, which kind of makes sense. There's now a damage pool, which is kind of cool, where you can kind of deflect things using different keywords like lethal or protected, and then there's some rules right there on like ties and things like that, things that conflict each other. And then protected, new ability right here, while defending a unit with a protected keyword subtracts X damage from the damage pool. So that's when it is resolved after the spend hits, but before the defender suffers the damage. So that's how all that works. Over here's the credits, and then we can jump right into the figures themselves. Take a closer look at those. Now these two are the same figure. They are from the same bag, and their figures are getting better and better quality wise from FFG. This is pretty solid. Don't see a lot of, well, there's a little bit of mold lines right there, but nothing too bad. Nice solid figure. Let's do the shield first. That seems smarter. Nice solid figure that's just gonna slot right in like that. Very easy to do. They're getting better on their slices too, like these hinges, these little we'll call them tabs, are getting a lot easier to work with as opposed to some of the fiddly stuff from the first round. So right there you can see the miniature goes together well, stays together. It is kind of technically push fit or easy to build, but I would definitely add a little bit more glue. On the unit rules wise, you can see right here that they are going to get some upgrades depending on how many trays you take, and of course the cost goes down, just a little added bonus or benefit. As far as their abilities go, they all have 1 armor and 1 wound each. They put out at range 1 red and 1 blue die, melee at 1 blue, and they have the new surge ability there. If the defender is at range 1 to 3, add a mortal wound, mortal strike, protected 1. I guess their shields come into play here. When defending, subtract 1 from the damage pool. So it's like they have an extra armor almost. But if it gets through, it would not take it from the wound. So if you fail your save, I guess it isn't dealt. I guess that's how it works. I guess if it gets through, I say fail your save, but that's not really a thing. Huh, that's an interesting mechanic. I like that. Very cool. And upgrade card wise, looks like 2 are specific faction and 3 are generic here. We've got, these always seem to have to do something with the units themselves. So we've got visored helms, cursed signets, close quarters training, and that's a 7. Close quarters training, and piercing strike. You can obviously pause the video and check out what exactly they do. Piercing strike, discard, add a mortal strike. Yep, that seems good. I like that. That's 3, but it is what it is right there. Very cool upgrades, and they're available to anybody except for the blue ones right there. So these 3, the cursed signets, column tactics, and close quarters targeting are available to anybody out there. So that is the heavy crossbowmen. Let's take a look at the Death Knights. Death Knights on deck here. The latest cavalry for the war car. Well, I guess the only cavalry, to be honest, right there. Now, these guys also introduced some new mechanics, another 2495 expansion from FFG, along with the heavy crossbowmen, of course. Let's open up the box and take a look. Once you get everything out here, you will see the full arrangement of goodies before you. You've got, of course, the command card, command dial, your upgrade cards. I think there's only 5 in here. Yep, 5. Your unit card, the new condition card, along with your little dial hinge things right there. 4 models in bag. There's only 3 because I took one out. And the trays themselves right here. So let's move these out of the way and talk first about what this unit can do on the tabletop. So we're gonna zoom in on the command dial. Of course, you've got 2 different fantastic, so you got your commands and your modifier. Ooh, Mortal Strike, get it. So these guys are pretty good in melee right there at the initiative 4 step. Let's see what else we got that looks pretty fresh. You've got some abilities to move. You can do a double move off a modifier right here. So it would be 2 and 2 or 3 or 2 and 2. So very, very similar to what we saw with the Dakan cavalry, heavy cavalry. What else do we have in here that looks exciting? Got a rally ability and got a special ability. Of course, the Mortal Strike's looking good. And they're slow and cumbersome, so your first initiative ability is going to be at 4. But man, what an ability that is right there. Never seen the ability to just add a Mortal Strike in. That's pretty cool. As far as the models go themselves, there's this actually, they thought this one through. So there's a specific style of slot that goes into the hole right here, or peg into the hole, and there's a specific peg shape that goes into the back of here, but once you figure that out, you're good to go. It's gonna go right on in. There's the action dial, commands, and the modifiers right here, and then of course the new condition card that we just showed you. So a condition is each condition. Oh, so it's a separate token that you place next to a unit whenever something happens. Whenever a player's effect causes a unit to receive a condition, it is discarded before the unit receives the new condition. Cause a different unit to receive that condition. Okay. Weird. So if you cause 1, then the copy of the condition is discarded before the new unit receives the condition. Okay. And when it's discarded, discard both the condition card and the token. And that condition's effect ends. A unit cannot receive a condition card it already has. So it looks like a 1 per deal thing right there. Model wise, here is the cavalry. There's going to be 2 of this same model and 2 of the other one that isn't pointing. And like I said, it goes together. There's a specific peg and slot configuration right there. Same for the waist. Goes together very easily. And then goes into the movement tray itself. The models are looking a lot fresher. There is a little bit of mold line right there, but still the crisper detail that we would come to kind of take for granted now in the future expansions of the game that wasn't quite there when the first cards or the first models came out. Let's see, upgrade card wise, of course we've got the Death's Grasp condition card itself. And what causes it? Well, let's take a look here. So we got Column Tactics, we've already seen that one in a previous release. Heraldric Surcoats, Death Mist Banners, Obsicast Golem. So you got some solid upgrades right here. You may exhaust this card to cause the defender to receive the Death's Grasp condition, and the Death's Grasp condition reads, before each end phase, when you would perhaps reanimate things at the end phase, you would suffer that many stable energy wounds. So you want to set the runes up right to make sure you're maximizing your your damage right there. But you know, you wouldn't play this perhaps, or exhaust the card if there was only one on the table, or maybe you just needed to hit out some wounds on the last couple of things right there and knock them down, and that's the way to go right there. So that appears to be it for upgrade card time, or excuse me, unit card time. So here's your available upgrades to the Death Knights depending on the number of tray configurations. Of course, the costs go down the more you buy. And special abilities, looks like they got 3 armor, 1 wound. They're going to be putting out some dope damage in melee, 2 red and 1 blue dice. They have an impact hit using stable energy and a steadfast fear ability. So you are going to get free fear cards, or being able to activate and trigger fear cards as having 1 additional morale icon. So that would come in handy depending if, you know, the icon situation, etc. out there on the tabletop. When defending, you subtract a mortal strike. Wow, that's pretty good. So it's a little bit tougher for them to get mortal stricken down. Very cool stuff right there. Oh, and the enemy receives that many panic tokens as well. That could come into play with your steadfast ability right there. Boom. These are nice. This is a good combo. How many points are these? 24 for 2. Very cool. And that is it for the Black Knight. So I hope you enjoyed our overview of the 2 latest expansions for the 2 main factions in Rune Wars. Of course, you got the heavy crossbowmen and now the fantastically evil looking Death Knights as well.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.